So good morning, and it is another rainy day out here. I'm actually staying up on the porch for a minute so I can film the intro here a little bit and get you up to speed. But in the last video, as you saw, I brought the mini excavator home to where I live from the off-grid property where I eventually will live. And it's been having some troubles. Mainly overheating, but it also has just a lot of things that have kind of needed some fix up on it. I've been touched up some things in terms of rust and stuff, but there's more work. So we're going to be doing more of that probably for the next couple of weekends or whatever it takes. Well, let me bring up speed. So I in the last video I talked about a potential fuel issue. I'm going to check that today, but what I thought was happening, when I shut the excavator off, last time I remembered it had about a half a tank. And then when I got up there a month or two later, whenever I finally got a chance to get back up, it was like right on empty. And as soon as I started running, it went like right, like it didn't show any fuel in it. So I brought more fuel up. I added about a half gallon, 3/4 of a gallon to it, and started it up, and all of a sudden the gas gauge went up to almost halfway. So I think that solves the problem. There was no leak. I didn't think there was. I couldn't smell it. I couldn't see anything on the pine needles underneath. So I was pretty sure it wasn't leaking, but I didn't know for sure. And now I have a feeling there's just something off with the float inside the tank that is way off. So I just got to remember not to let it go too far below half a tank because it's going to drop quickly from that point. So anyway, hopefully that's not an issue. So it's really the overheating. So today we're going to pull off a bunch of the panels so we can start to get to the engine a little bit better. And also so I can start to pound out some of those dents that are in the panels, and we'll end up painting them. Let's see what else. So let me show you. I talked about ordering parts last time. eBay does have a lot of this stuff. It's just sometimes hard to find unless you have the part number. So I have this, I was able to kind of print this off of that disc that I talked about last week and identified the water pump, the thermostat, and the belt, the V belt that goes with it. And associated with those numbers, of course, are part numbers. So I was able to go ahead and look up those part numbers on eBay, found them right away, original manufacturer, OEM parts. And so because the water pump was only $75, the expense is pulling the whole thing apart, the labor, and that's obviously on me. So I went ahead and ordered all of that stuff. If I'm going to pull that whole thing apart, because there's a bunch of parts and panels to take off and get into the engine, if I'm going to take it apart anyway to flush it, which I think needs to be done anyway, so I'll completely flush it. I might as well put in the new pump, a new V-belt, and a new thermostat, of course, with all new gaskets. So that'll be coming up hopefully next week. It just depends on when the parts come in. I think they're supposed to come in by next week, so we'll see. Hopefully that'll be the next video, but I've got plenty more to do today still. We'll go through that, and I even have a whole, I don't know if you can see it. I got like this whole checklist of stuff, just a ton of things that I'm going to look at so it helped me remember, because there's so many little things that I keep going, oh yeah, I need to do this. Oh yeah, I need to do that. So I'll be checking through that list as I work on it. But anyway, I don't know how exciting this will be, but it's about creating things and fixing things. In this case, fixing and all these things that you see me working on pretty much are all working towards kind of one big goal, and that is being able to have my retirement home built off grid, and kind of the dream home for me, I guess. And all these different things, the tractor, the dump truck, the sawmill, it's all working towards that idea of being self-sufficient, and also kind of establishing a little bit of a side trade that I can do after I retire from my business job that I do now. And I want to have a lot of other things that keep me busy and be able to help my neighbors and my community. So anyway, that's what that's all about. So, you always see me working on something, but they all tend to focus towards the same goal. So I hope you enjoy that. Enjoy following along, and maybe in a few years, if you're still sticking with me by then, if I'm still doing the videos by then, you'll see the house and see that a lot of this vision, this dream's coming true. It just takes time, a lot of hard work and patience. So we'll keep doing that. Anyway, I'm really glad you're joining me. Thank you for watching today, and let's get started. All right, so I've started inside because it started raining a little bit harder, and I figured I'd just try to make a little progress in here too. In the last video, I talked about the fact that the radio doesn't work and the fan system for the heat and AC is not blowing at all. So down here is where, there we go. Down here is where I checked all my fuses. I pulled every single one out and tested it, and they were all good. And now what I'm doing is I'm gonna go through the relays and one by one test each of these. And I'm assuming one of these must be bad. I mean, either that or it's the actual wiring itself somewhere has come loose, disconnected, or corroded. Whatever the case, hopefully I can get to the bottom of it, and we'll get some electrical work fixed right now. Hopefully the rain's gonna let up in the next couple of hours. And then once it does, I can start working on the outside as originally described. So let's keep going, and hopefully we'll figure this out. All right, so I went ahead and pulled all the relays out, and I numbered each one and numbered the plug that I pulled it from as well, so that I can obviously get them back in the right places, even though I think they're all the same, but that way we at least know for sure. And I'm gonna go ahead and clean these up a little bit, and then I have this little relay tester, and we're gonna see if we've got any bad ones here. All right, so this thing's pretty simple. I'm just gonna put them in order, and we'll just go through them. See if we've got any bad ones here. And all you got to do is have a 12-volt source for this, and then you have a switch on here that says whether it's a 4-pin or 5-pin. These have 5 pins on them, obviously. So let's go ahead and go through them and try them out. Of course, you want to find the one that has the right pattern. This one's in the upper right hand corner, so I'm going to go ahead and stick that in there. I'm going to hit the test. And it should flick on and off with a green blinker. Hopefully you can see that. So you know that one's working. So one is good. So all our relays are good. I was kind of hoping that one of the relays were bad, because that would mean I could simply replace a relay and be done. But evidently that's not going to be that simple. So next we'll start chasing down wiring and see if the motor's good on that blower. All right, so we've gone through all the relays. They all look good. I tried to clean up the contacts a bit. I forgot that I had this. I just went and grabbed it. This QD contact cleaner. It's good to spray in these little areas that are hard to get in. I also have wire brush, and I brought these little guys. They're different size, little wire, like bottle cleaners is kind of what they look like, different sizes. But and I'm gonna try to clean out these plugs. Still working on the inside. I didn't record all of it because it was just getting to be frustrating, but basically, let's see what we did. We pulled this whole panel off in the back here. Checked, there's a fuse in the back of that radio. So I checked that fuse, that was fine. Try to clean up some of this stuff just with some wipes and a little towel. And I gotta wipe a little bit more, but there was like a lot of mud and dirt and everything in there. So the panels, all the pieces that I took off, I took those all and washed those. They're drying in the garage now. And I found the other broken half of the door that goes down here. So I took that off and down to the garage as well. I'm gonna try to, I think, just pop over a piece of sheet metal onto it and paint the whole thing. And just so that I've got the full door again, it gives a little bit of protection here from just, I don't know, dirt and stuff that comes in. So moving along, I'll keep cleaning out the inside a little bit more. I'm eager to kind of get started on the main thing I wanted to do today was, you know, the radiator flush. I also wanted to take off a bunch of these panels so I can start pounding them out. So maybe if the rain holds off long enough, I'll actually be able to do that. I've got to go around and take pictures of where all the stickers are too, so that once I'm done, you know, painting, well, of course I've got to get the heat gun and peel all these stickers off. And then once I'm done painting, I'll put the new ones on that I have to replace them. I just need to know where they all go. So that's it for now. I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update. Sorry, this isn't very exciting right now. Just this the work that needs to be done. So I'll keep at it and try to record some more of it and keep you up to date. Oh yeah, I figured something else out too. That little thing that looked like a motor on the side of all the duct work that was over here. That's just a solenoid to change the flow of air when you change to your feet or up to defrost or whatever. That is not a fan motor. I'm like, boy, that's pretty small. I got a closer look. It's just a solenoid. What I figured out though is these vents right here, well, this one at least, air is evidently blowing up through there. So somewhere we've got I guess I don't know if I can take this panel up or what I can do here, but somewhere under there, I think, is where my actual blower is, my fan motor, or maybe it's up under the seat somewhere. So I might pull that apart next. Can't decide. I feel like I'm getting in over my head a little bit on this because my goal really was just to do the flush today, but with the rain on and off, I figured I'd keep working inside as long as I could inside the cab here. So let's see if we can figure out how to get this floor up, and maybe there's a fan motor under there, and maybe that's where we've got an issue. All right, I think I'm going to stop at this point. This whole HVAC is going to be a massive project. It appears that they just didn't make this to be worked on. It looks like this whole setup here is going to have to come out in order to get to this. It doesn't go down from underneath because you can see the bolts are in here and there's a pan sitting there. And even if I get those, then I've got hoses, so, you know, I don't think it's worth it. I got a lot of other things I got to get done, and having heat or air conditioning is not that critical in this machine. I could just open up the windows and do it the way the old guys used to. So I thought it'd be nice to get it working because I thought it was a simple electrical thing, but it appears it's much more. Clearly this whole motor that's down here is completely seized up. There's so much dirt and crap down in here. Even if I replace the motor, I suspect with all the dirt and crud that's in here that the heater core or the AC core, whichever, or yeah, I don't know which this one is, but whatever that core in there, I bet that's ruined and bad too. So this could be like the never-ending project, and ain't nobody got no time for that. So I'm gonna put as much of it back together as I can, and I don't think we need heat or AC in this machine. It's just going to be what it is. Let's get to the other things we've got to do here, which is a long list. So, and most importantly, working on the overheating problem. So, sorry, I hate to do that. I got pretty far, but once I realized what I was fully into, it just isn't worth it. Sometimes you don't know until you start. So a lot of other things I'll get fixed and painted up nice though, so that'll be nice. But this is This is a lost cause, I'm afraid. All right, so I've had to put a new bolt in there. That other one was just too shot. Clipped off the piece of loose rubber at some point. I'll get some more of this and fix that up a little bit. But we got that plate back in place, sprayed a bunch of the rust too inside with the rust cutter, which of course is this is like the best stuff from Tractor Supply. We're gonna spray some of the tracks too. I'll show you the other side. I started it already. These are places that I had sprayed that were all, this was all rust before. I think you've seen that before. I took the weather stripping here and pushed it up on the edges and got it in tight, and I think it looks pretty good up top now. So I just need to do something across the bottom here, but I'll probably when I paint, I'll probably pull all that off again anyway first, and then once it's dry, put it back. So put the battery in the charger just because I've been starting and stopping it and haven't really been running it. So, and I've got some work to do here. I'm gonna have to spray this down too with the rust cutter, bend this back a little bit, and make a new clamp for this so that that battery doesn't move around. But I think at this point, oh yeah, I went around and I took pictures of where all the stickers are, all these little places where they, so I'm gonna go grab the, I'm gonna start peeling those off shortly. And a couple days ago I sprayed this with the rust cutter, and I'm gonna hit it a second time. It usually takes 2 or 3 times with its thick, heavy rust, but it does a really good job. And it, of course, depends on how soon it rains after you do it, but you can kind of see, this is kind of the before, and this is after with one coat, and then I'll hit it with another coat, and I'll hit this one with the coat as well, because this is, you can see how it's all rusted down in here. But we'll get that cleaned up so we can paint it. Other things to come will include, I gotta get some kind of a chemical mixture to get rid of all my grease spots here, just long enough to at least paint. And oh yeah, I sprayed some rust cutter up here too. This was all rusted as well. So I love that stuff. Works really well. I mean, I honestly don't do too much. Sometimes I'll probably wire brush it a little bit and wash it off before I paint. But I don't really do all the grinding and stuff that I used to do with rust. You don't need to with this stuff. It chemically kills it pretty quickly. So, but the goal is to get these panels off here and these panels off here. In fact, I found a toolbox that I didn't even know was here. Look at that. That's pretty nice. So, because there's very little room inside this thing to put anything. But my, as you can see, the radiator's right here. And it's looking kind of dirty in there. So I got to take all this, probably all this stuff off here. I'm not so sure about this back piece because this is the counterweight. This whole piece is all a solid counterweight. So probably leave that in place if I can. But the water pump, I believe, is right in behind here. So down in there, we're going to see if we can get to that in the thermostat, because I want to pull the thermostat out when I flush it and pull a hose off the bottom of the radiator and just pump water through it for a little bit until I get all the crud out. And then we'll put fresh antifreeze in it and clean it up. So that's kind of the plan. I don't know if we're going to get all that done now, because it's now, it's 4 o'clock. Maybe I'll get some of the panels off, and we'll see what happens. But at least the rain finally stopped. It delayed me for so long. It was very frustrating. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. So let's get to it. All right, so this hose right here goes right down to the thermostat is in there. And if you can see down, you can see the fan here. There's the alternator over there. And then the pulley in the middle, that's the water pump down there. So I think there's no way to change that. There's no way to change that water pump without taking everything apart. It's actually a big job. All right, I'm gonna keep cleaning, pulling off panels. At least I can still pound these things out a little bit and start painting. But all right, let's keep going. We'll get these panels off next.